Good morning, guys. I hope you're having a great day so far. I'm sorry this video is a little late. There were a couple of logistic things that I had to figure out with it before we could get started. Today we're going to be looking at our Testing Galileo's Hypothesis lab. So as you can see here, I have my board set up, and we are taking a couple of departures from the written instructions. Number one, as you can see, I have meter sticks taped to the side of my board for bumpers. I ran it a couple of times and I noticed that the marble kept going off the side because my board is a little warped, so I had to make that provision. Additionally, instead of using steel ball bearings, I am using these red glass marbles, so you will be seeing those go instead. And when we look at our board, it's kind of hard to see, but it should be okay. This top line here is 1.5 meters. This line is 1 meter, and then this line is 0.5 meter. And instead of using the same ball bearing for all of the runs, I'm going to be using multiple marbles. They are identical for all intents and purposes, so that will have no effect on our lab. So for our first run, starting with the procedure, you would be looking at number 2. I'm going to place the marble at the 1.5 meter line, and as I release the marble, I'm going to hit start on my stopwatch, and then when it reaches the end of the board, I'll hit stop, and I will share that information with you. Well, I'll then repeat that 4 more times for the 1.5 meter length before moving on to the 1 meter length. You will be expected to collect all quantitative and qualitative data from this video. So quantitative data is the numerical data, so like distances and the time. And then qualitative data is describing what happens. Then after you collect all of that data, you will be expected to answer all of the analyzation questions at the end of the lab. So let's go ahead and get started with collecting our data. So we'll start here at the 1.5 meter mark. And our first time is 5.28 seconds. So let's run that again. Because remember, we're running each distance a total of 5 times. So, ready, go. All right. This time, our time is 3.51 seconds, so I must have been a little slow on the last one. Let's run it again. For our third time. Our time this time is 4.12 seconds. Our fourth time is 4.07 seconds. And then our fifth time from 1.5 meters is 3.98 seconds. So now let's move to 1 meter. And again, we will be running this 5 times. So trial 1. Oh, that one got hung up on the tape. We have 3 seconds for trial 1. For trial 2. You have 2.8 seconds. For trial 3. You have 2.99 seconds. For trial 4. You have 3.13 seconds. And finally, for trial 5, You have 3.39 seconds. So let's move on to our half a meter distance. And again, we will be running this trial 5 times. So for trial 1, you have 2.06 seconds. For trial 2, 2.07 seconds. For trial 3, oh, that one's stuck on the tape. Trial 3, 1.86 seconds. Trial 4, oh, my timer didn't start. Trial 4, 2.26 seconds. And then finally for trial 5, 2.19 seconds. And that is all of part A. Then for part B, it wants us to rerun it with the ramp supported by 2 books. So I messed up by accident. I am sorry. I started this with 2 books. So I ran part B first. So now let's run part A. I'll take one of the books out from under the ramp. And we do the same procedure, 5 trials from each distance. And so let's start at 1.5 meters. So for trial 1, you have 6.81 seconds. For trial 2, .73 seconds. For trial 3, 5.66 seconds. For trial 4, 6.33 seconds. And for trial 5, from 1.5 meters, 5.12 seconds. So now let's move to the 1 meter distance. Remember, this is at 1 meter supported by 1 book. So trial 1 at 1 meter. We have 4.26 seconds. For trial 2 at 1 meter, you have 4.33 seconds. For trial 3 at 1 meter, oh, it didn't start. Let me reset it. So trial 3 at 1 meter, you have 4.59 seconds. For trial 4 at 1 meter, you have 4.48 seconds. And for trial 5 at 1 meter, you have 4.14 seconds. So now let's move to our half meter distance. So again, we are working in data table 1, half a meter supported by 1 book. So for trial 1 from a half a meter, oh, it didn't go. Let me reset it. And trial 1, you have a time of 2.73 seconds. For trial 2, you have a time of 2.72 seconds. For trial 3, you have a time of 3.00 seconds. For trial 4 from a half a meter, oh, it got stuck again. So for trial 4 from a half a meter supported by 1 book, you have 2.73 seconds. And then for trial 5 supported by 1 book, you have 2.93 seconds. Now, that should be all of the data that you need to complete this lab. I hope you guys are having a good first day. Please remember, be kind to each other, be safe, wash your hands, and hopefully before we know it, we'll all see each other back here at school. Have a great rest of the day.